Hey everyone, meet Kevin here. Today, we're confronting Meet Lauren, who is here to finally tell us why we have 7 children. Because so far the world has only gotten my version of the story, maybe sometimes, but you are the best at everything. So tell us, how did you manufacture 7 children?
It's a long story, but basically I've always had fertility issues. I had to use fertility treatments to conceive my first 2 sons. Our first 2 sons. And when it was time for us to want to do the whole process again.
I like the process.
Yeah, the fertility methods that had worked prior stopped working. So then we had to choose the IVF route, which also didn't work, which then led to surrogacy routes, multiple surrogacies.
Many surrogates. How many would you like? Yes.
That was a whoopsie, a little bit of timing, but not a whoopsie with the children that we have.
You know, when I tell people, yeah, we have 7 children, and they look at me like, what are the ages? I go, well, 5 of them are 1. And I'm like, but it was a mistake. And they're like, you had 5 mistakes?
Yeah,
and you're calling your children a mistake?
I always clarify, the children are not mistakes. The timing was a mistake, a whoopsie. We had the first surrogate, and it took so long. It just felt like it took forever. And so we were thinking, because
they also miscarried once.
They miscarried. Things got delayed because that surrogate had COVID right before a transfer. So things kind of just, the can kept getting kicked down the road. So because it took so long with that first one, we wanted to start the process with a second surrogate, thinking that it would probably be 2-year age gap, even if, both stuck.
Right, so that's not to replace the first.
Yeah.
It was so that we could have 1 or 2 children, and then 2 years, 1 or 2 children. Basically, you kind of got jaded with the process, because it was like, well, if it takes this long, we better get started on the next one for the 2-year plan down the road.
And we just wanted babies so badly, and I mean, it's a matter of fact, the women in this whole process go through so much more than the men. I know there are a lot of emotional aspects for a man going through this process. Could be. But the women with the shots, the hormones, the frequent doctor's visits, the blood draws, everything like that, I'm just like, let's go. I want a baby. I just want a baby. So I think we kind of got a little ahead of ourselves and started the process with a second surrogate. An agency, a different agency, because I couldn't go through the same agency that I had my first surrogate through. I had to go through a different agency because you can't have 2 surrogates for whatever reason through that one agency.
Well, I think because people would think, like, who would be so crazy to have 2 surrogates going at the same time? I think the agency thought that you might be trying to, like, replace one for the other.
Maybe.
When really the intention was, no, if this is going to take this long, let's
forever.
start the process earlier.
And so many things just happened that delayed even more.
Right.
So I didn't want to have a situation where I was waiting a long, long time for me to us to have another baby. So the second agency, I was already legally bound to them. I keep saying I because it's a fact, I took on the responsibility of doing this process. It was me that did the meds. It was me that did the visits to the doctors. So sorry if I say I, it's us. But
I mean, we're talking about like 1% of the work and 99.
So the second agency ended up fast tracking it way, way quicker. What took probably, I don't know, I want to say like close to 2 years for the first agency, it took maybe about 4 months from start to transfer of a surrogate that I was already legally obligated to. So at that point we had a decision. We realized that, okay, if she gets transferred and say this first transfer sticks, then the babies would potentially be 3.5 months apart. Do we want to essentially fire, even though there was nothing wrong with the surrogate, she's absolutely wonderful and amazing, simply because of the spacing and age? Or do we want to proceed?
It's kind of like buying 2 houses, because like you buy your 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and then you're like, we'll live there for 2 or 3 years. And then we want to move to the 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. And we kind of wanted to get into escrow on both of them so we'd be ready for the next one 2 years later. Except the first one had a lot of contingency issues. And the second one is like, you signed and we're ready to close. So do you want to forfeit your deposit? And we're like,
so, yeah, I mean,
naturally, we'll just do both.
Matter of fact, just like factually speaking, so another thing is that we would have to pay the compensation to the second surrogate anyway.
Right.
So at that point, we thought to ourselves, we always wanted 6 kids. That was our always, at least 6 kids goal. And we're like, you know what, like F it, let's just do it. Let's go for it.
And at the time, we thought we would have a chance at catching up with Elon.
I was not thinking about Elon at all when I was going through this. But yeah, the second surrogate, it stuck. And I don't know, a lot of people, I tell the story too, a lot of people don't realize that when you do an embryo transfer, it's nearly like a BOGO of buy one, get one free for one embryo is like, say it's $100K to transfer in that process. To transfer a second embryo, it's $105K.
Right.
So
your marginal cost per child goes down to $52.5K, so it's a pretty good coupon code.
And then another factor too is, both obviously don't always stick. So you do that extra little bonus, $5,000 more to get a second one, and you hope that both stick. But a lot of times only one sticks or none. But yeah, fortunately for us, both did stick.
And these are our kids, right?
These are our biological kids, right. Yes. And one ended up splitting too. So we have with the twins from the initial surrogate, we have Ella and Claire, so 2 daughters there. Then we have the second surrogate who delivered triplets. We have 2 identical girls within that triplet bunch, and then 1 boy. So that's how that happened. It was a whoopsie in timing, but not a whoopsie with the babies because they're amazing.
So now we could say we're the proud parents of 7 children. We have the honor of saying that for at least another 4 months now.
No, nothing's in the works now. No.
So, are you,
a lot going on already.
Are you okay with more? Like, when are we gonna get more? I gotta catch up with Elon.
I could see myself maybe when the 5 babies are in kindergarten, thinking of maybe doing another double embryo transfer into a surrogate. I could see it.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay. All right.
Right now, I'm not seeing it anytime soon. But yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea of more.
So they'll be going to school around this local area here, and there's somebody else who went to school with you in this local area around here that's got some drama going on. I don't understand what this drama is, but what is going on with your boy Ethan Klein?
My boy Ethan Klein.
You used to grow up with him and his family.
Yeah. So Ethan Klein from H3H3, he actually was my brother's childhood friend all throughout elementary school.
Oh, so you were a free rider.
A free rider? What do you mean? I wasn't friends with him. My brother's 4.5 years older than I am. But Ethan was over our house all the time, so I knew Ethan really well. So my parents and I have been following Ethan since he started his channel back when he got no views a long time ago.
When he was in Israel. Over 15 years ago, I feel like.
I don't know if you...
Yeah, I think he lived in Israel. Because they would film the Iron Dome. This was way back when they had, 10K subs or something.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, I feel really bad for him that he's going through a lot of stuff.
What is going? I don't know. Can you give me the TLDR? Because this is what I look at every. See, this is boring. Reuters news. Okay, it's and stocks. Look at this guy talking about Adobe. It's boring.
Yeah, I didn't have much time to go deep into it with kind of understanding the beef between, one group of people versus Ethan. My bottom line takeaway that I saw that I really feel so bad for him and his family is that whatever's going on, and really it doesn't matter, what's happening is not okay, where he is now having CPS called on him falsely.
So he pissed somebody off.
He pissed somebody off,
okay.
And the opposite party is trying to hurt him and involving his kids now.
How old are the kids?
I think he said 10 months old and a 3 and a 5-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So one's in kindergarten.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And I haven't talked to Ethan in forever. I just kind of in the background now, somewhat check in and follow him just because of the history of having grown up with him, and he was over my house a lot.
Right. So people are calling Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
And what are the kids getting investigated or something?
Yeah, they're getting interviewed. The CPS agent wants to go to the kid's school, which is potentially traumatizing, and all under things that are between adults, the parents of these children, and whoever the opposite party is. Just to me, I don't think that the CPS child involvement is a fair play in hating somebody. I think that's just so low and just really inconsiderate to the parents, but really the kids. They shouldn't be put through that. That happened to us one time, not CPS, but I remember during COVID, cops were called for us.
Clickbait, yeah! Cops called!
an anonymous report saying that some type of child abuse was happening. And when they came, it was like 7:30 p.m. or something like that. And my boys, for like the last like 30 to 45 minutes, had been in bed, relaxing, watching TV, kind of winding down for the night. I think you were napping, and I was cleaning. I remember this because they came and they said that there was an anonymous tip. And I asked, when was this? So I could maybe piece it together. Like, okay, what if maybe an hour and a half ago the boys were roughhousing and it was loud and someone misunderstood? But they said, no, we got the tip probably 20 minutes ago and just rushed over here. So I'm like, they literally were in bed. There was no sound.
Took 20 minutes. That's
and they
sad.
I had to take the boys out of their beds, and they had to come downstairs, and the cops had to ask a few questions. It was over with quickly, and everything was really nice. But even that alone, I was like, that's so messed up. That's just so wrong to go stoop that low,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So
It's not uncommon though, because, you know, people, I think people have their own problems in life. Everybody has problems in life because life is hard. It's not easy. And I think there's satisfaction that almost comes out of like causing pain and hardship for other people.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's why you get, you know, mean comments or, you know, like I remember when we first bought the plane, the first like month, like somebody complained to the FAA that we were running like an illegal charter service selling like, you know, oh, you want to fly to New York? Yeah, we'll fly you to New York. And like we like nobody has ever told this plane where to go but me. So the FAA is like, all right, yeah, no, this is nothing. And so that's all like closed and nothing ever came out of this because they look. But, you know, I'm sitting at the Camarillo airport and I'm like, I just bought a plane and now there are two people with badges and guns and they're like, oh, we're opening an investigation into chartering. I'm like, my goodness, all because of, you know, stuff like that. So that does happen on social media, and it's sad because really what it is other people just getting that satisfaction out of like, aha, I caused problems for them. Meanwhile, for me, I kind of look at it as like, nah, now the FAA and I, we're like buddies now. It's like a good
somehow
thing.
bonded you guys together.
That's right, you know, so... but you know, it's funny you say that. I took Jack and sort of like cops talking to children. I took Jack just for fun. We were coming back from bowling. I saw a DUI checkpoint on the other side of the road in the Cybertruck, and so I'm like, Jack, you want to get pulled over? I used to do DUI checkpoints when I was Explorer, and I flipped a UE, legal U-turn, and I went into the DUI checkpoint. And, you know, I had my license ready. They didn't even really care to look at it because, again, they're just looking for DUI stuff. Obviously, I wasn't drinking. And I told the officer, oh, I just wanted to show, you know, what y'all doing. It seems like y'all were a little slow, so we thought we'd be one of your customers. Yeah. And, I mean, hey, when they're slow, they're bored. They're all standing there, like 20 people standing there, not a car in sight. Not sure why they set the checkpoint up there. I feel like I could have told them. They would have been bored where they set it up. But anyway, they're like, cool story, dude. Hey, child, how much has he had to drink tonight?
Just go straight to the child.
I'm like, bro.
Children are very honest.
Yeah.
That's a smart move.
Yeah. Jack's like, no, nothing. And I'm like, oh, I'll give you $20 later.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So all right. So that's interesting on the Kleins and sad. Just the involvement of children. That's kind of where I was getting at anyway.
Yeah.
This trip when it's kind of rough.
Yeah. And I haven't seen or talked to Ethan in a very long time, and I don't know how much bearing this has, but I will say, because I know a lot of it has to do with the cleanliness of the house in relation to why CPS was called. And I know, because I went over to his house growing up, that his mom was an immaculate house cleaner. And I do feel like that oftentimes trickles down, but I've also separately seen comments about how a lot of people have gone over there for business-related things and then also vouching that it is very clean. But, you know, I really don't believe any of the claims.
I mean, people have to say ludicrous things to make, you know, the authorities come. You know, what Ethan really should do is the next time the social workers or CPS or whatever comes is dress up as a Doge employee.
Why?
To fire them. Hey, 50% of you, turn around.
God.
Do you hear Trump yesterday announced that today's Wednesday the 12th, the Department of Education today is closed.
Oh.
Everybody is working from home. who was allowed to work from home because they're going in, presumably changing all like the badges and access codes. They're firing 50% of the Department of Education.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's interesting. I do wish our schools were better. I mean, that was one of the reasons we ran for governor. See, I say we, you say I. But it was to introduce better schools and future schools. I mean, what's your take on the schooling? Like, what did you grew up here?
Yeah, I went through the public school system, and I feel that the public schools now are way, way worse than when I was growing up. It just seems to be deteriorating.
They cut the extracurriculars, or what they do?
Yeah, I heard they cut a lot of that. I don't know. Our kids go to a private school. I actually was very anti-private school and for public school until I kind of did a lot more research on how badly it's declined since my knowledge and memory of
You were going to like open houses and studying all these different schools because you're like, I want these children to be, well educated, and it was like hard for you to figure out what to do.
Yeah, and then it's interesting because there are pocket areas in California, say Irvine, Newport Beach area as an example.
Palo Alto, yeah.
Where they have a reputation where the schools are actually good, and then consequently the housing prices are just so high because you're essentially paying the price of maybe what you would have paid, well, and then some for a private school, but you're getting a really good public school education, but then your housing cost is a lot
and that's a bit of a chicken or egg thing too. Like, are the schools good and therefore the houses are good, or is it that there are a lot of jobs, the housing costs are up, the tax revenue is up, and what you get is the expulsion of poverty.
Yeah.
So, like, I hate saying that, but what happens is when prices go up, poor people are forced out. Mm-hmm. And so people will look at California and they'll say, oh, the population of California is declining in certain areas. And you'll look at some of the expensive areas and correct, it's declining. But it's often not the wealthy or individuals that are leaving. It's the poor individuals who are squeezed out. So then, they move to different areas. And then that just leaves households with more resources for extracurriculars or tutors or parents with time to do homework. We talked about this the other night. Like, what do you do? And I'm kind of curious, like, what you would say you would do. We made this analogy of this, like, what would you do today if you were a single mother, 39 years old, you're a store manager at Target, you've got 2 children in elementary school, they need to be picked up from school at, 2:30 or whatever in the middle of your shift, so you have to pay for somebody to watch them. Meanwhile, you're barely able to afford rent plus ridiculous food prices plus car insurance and health insurance for 3 children after, the Affordable Care Act made things unaffordable. In fairness, you get some more coverages, but we know insurance costs are pretty extreme. What do you do? How do you get out of that situation?
Yeah, and too, in this situation, I feel like she basically just passes maybe the threshold of having government aid.
Oh, for sure. I mean? Yeah, no.
So,
manager target, you're just above.
she needs it, though. She's stuck. And that's a really sad reality. I hate that. Something needs to change, but...
Yeah, I thought about that analogy or that example a bit more, and I was thinking probably, the only thing you could do is hope that you can get a promotion within Target.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to turn around and say, hey, let's, become a real estate agent. Oh, okay, so you don't spend a single minute of time with your children because now your nights and weekends are burned?
Yeah.
What, is she going to turn into a software programmer and then AI does her work for it? Like, no, that's not going to work. So really, you have to hope for corporate mobility. Okay, great. So what is Target announcing? Oh, declines in sales, cost cuts, Kohl's. It's gotten so bad at Kohl's that they're cutting advertising.
Oh.
Well, when businesses start cutting advertising, you're just like you're slicing yourself.
Yeah.
So, what do they say? You bite the hand that feeds you, or what? Anyway, so like now you're in an economically uncertain time where you're even more stuck as costs are higher.
Yeah.
So what do you do? I think we even touched on if you found a partner, let's say married another dude or whatever, because of the way society is today, that person would probably also have children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you have children, there's that baggage phrase. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like, your opinion.
I mean, to me, it's just sad that she's stuck. I honestly, like we talked about this, I don't know what you could do. There aren't options for that situation. And that's a situation that so many people have.
Right. And we always came from this point of view of like, okay, well, maybe instead of an example of an old school way to build wealth was, okay, even if you're stuck in that situation, what can we do within your budget to just replace what you're throwing money at to something that's going to build you wealth? And in the past, that used to be real estate because, let's say you're living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. Instead of renting it, you buy it because the payments would be roughly similar. And then at least you could try to build wealth through the property. Yeah. Maybe after 5 years, you're able to refinance, use that to put a down payment on a larger home. And at least you're growing wealth while getting by. But now interest rates are, 6.5%, and it costs you twice as much to do that. Yeah. So you're just like screwed.
Yeah. I will say this is a very specific situation. One of my surrogates, she is amazing, and she has a child of her own.
That's what you do. You become a surrogate.
I find it so admirable how she is, because she goes to night school to further her medical career. And she's a single mom, mind you.
Wow.
Dad's out of the picture. And she then does surrogacy while also going to her job, while also doing night school.
And solving the population crisis.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I think that's a very unique situation that works for her. But
become a Let's start a course.
Yeah.
Surrogacy 101. A new definition to the meats.
She was amazing to me. She was going to her night school. I think she had some online class and some actually physically going, 2 weeks prior to delivering our babies. And I'm just like,
wow.
Good for you. I'd be in bed.
What a bad.
Yeah,
and I know pregnancy treats every woman differently.
It does. It doesn't really affect her as it does others.
Some people, it wouldn't affect them at all. Some people, they're bedridden.
Yeah.
And all everything in between.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So, that's actually a good analogy. Now you're kind of working while also being able to work.
Yeah. I just think that there probably is some type of unique solution, but it's a matter of if it's actually possible for you and applicable to you. I think it's basically low odds to find something like that where you
make
can make money while
you sleep.
You're growing a baby.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I'll no comment.
Okay. Okay then. What a hustle. That's interesting. Now, one thing that I did notice you mentioned is when we first started the surrogacy process, it seemed like there was a shortage. As with everything during COVID, there were shortages of pilots, flight tickets, stuff at the store, toilet paper day one, and surrogates, of course.
And that's why it took longer with the first one, is because it took so long to find somebody that I matched with,
You found me.
With a surrogate for us to match with. The second one came quickly. It was very easy and fast, but then it did a flip-flop. So there was actually a surrogacy surplus. So
when did you start seeing the surplus?
Well, I think it was maybe transitioning when I found my second one, because it did, like I said, I found her more.
Oh, the early signs.
Yeah, but now my second surrogate has been actively looking for another family to be a surrogate for, and
link in the description.
But because there's a surrogacy surplus and a shortage of families that want to use surrogates, those families that want to use surrogates can pick from, the cream of the crop. Not saying that mine is not amazing. I'm just, saying that they could pick from so many different candidates.
There's so many available
and
now.
There's so many, because it's more than just, medically, can you have the baby? You kind of it's like a dating thing too, where you have to match with your personalities too and how you view things. So, and that doesn't always work out. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Surrogacy surplus now. Interesting. Well, I guess there goes that idea for the target mom. So then, okay, so what about your thesis on, it's a little bit of a different topic, but so many people move to Texas and Florida, and you had previously heard or done some research on in 2008, the Florida sort of housing bubble. And now what we're seeing is a little bit of a slowdown in certainly Texas real estate, but even Florida real estate. There was a period of time during COVID where it was all the rage to everybody let's go to Texas. And I know we traveled around. We looked at, Vegas and Texas, and we've been to, all these different locations, the zero income tax states. Nobody knows zero tax is like news. So what's your take on that now? What do you think of the Texas and the Floridas for real estate? Do you buy the dip? Do you wait? Do you just stay away?
I think those states go in phases of popularity for various reasons. And I think during COVID, because everyone was working from home, that created another boom in those areas, especially people who are frustrated with living in California and paying the high taxes, and the property values are so much higher here. But to me, I think that eventually that thrill of saving money, especially for the people that move from the nice areas of California, like the nice weather, like the coastal SoCal area, I think a lot of them end up moving out and back again, because once you experience the SoCal coastline, it's really, really hard to change and be accepting of kind of really like not great weather. Like
maybe more humidity or storms.
Yeah,
or
something.
Okay.
I'm not saying that there isn't good weather in those places. I'm just saying that there is a consistency of good weather here that you get spoiled by. And then you sacrifice the good weather for saving money, and then you're like, oh wait, my quality of life is now suffering because I like being able to play tennis during the winter. Oh crap, it snows here, I can't, or whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm simplifying it, but I think that it goes in phases. I think a lot of people do end up moving back. I know there are a lot of great areas in these states that, you know, where you can save money. But to me personally, I would rather live in a more modest home and have the amazing weather year round. But that's just me. Maybe, you know, not everybody values that as much as I do.
I wonder how much capability people truly do have of moving out of a more expensive area, a higher cost of living area, to a lower cost of living area, and then moving back. Mostly because I think unless you have extra means, your income actually goes down when you go to a lower cost of living area. It's my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Because your pay is less.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about that in the house here the other day, you know, this idea, you know, like, hey, where's, you know, another cheap place to live or whatever. And it's like, well, there's Detroit, you know, you can buy homes for $1 if you survive. You know, we've got the video, Detroit real estate is on fire, and we're not talking about the market. It's still on YouTube, you can watch it. But anyway, downtown Detroit has actually gotten better, but the point is, usually when you move to a lower cost of living area, whatever service you're providing is more dime a dozen. Your ability to generate revenue goes down.
Yeah.
You know, electricians are a lot more in demand in downtown Manhattan than they are going to be in Ohio, because in Ohio, everybody can change an outlet. Mm-hmm. Not saying it's going to be done like an electrician's way, but nobody's going to pay $100 for an outlet there, whereas in Manhattan, bankers don't care. Right. I just want a safe outlet, you know, go do it. Yeah. So I think the ability to make money in higher cost of living areas is there. It is more expensive though. Mm-hmm. But then the argument comes up, but you could have something larger in a different area. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're making a sacrifice for your quality of life potentially in exchange for a bigger home. And if that's important to you, then I think that's great, and a lot of people do it. To me, I don't value that as much. Ah,
got it. Okay, so overall quality of life. So what about, you know, you've gone from now driving a Toyota Sienna to driving a Tesla.
Yeah.
You always used to hate driving the Teslas or the FSD and everything, and you're a recent convert. So what happened here?
I mean, it was kind of a situational thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, I have 5 car seats, baby car seats in my Sienna now for when and if I have to transport all 5 babies at once, which leaves not enough room for Jack and Max to be able to be safe in the Sienna. So the Tesla is when I have to take the boys somewhere, and then the Sienna is now babies.
And how is it?
I really like it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the loud screeching when I am parked and have to turn. Like, that's a little upsetting.
That's been an issue since day one.
Given the price of the car, I would hope for that not to be a thing. But
well, the prices come down afterwards. So we bought it at $120,000 or whatever. And because of the screeching, they gave us a post discount, and now it's worth a lovely like $70,000.
Yeah. You know when I'm pulling out of a parking spot. It's so bad.
Oh, well, at least this Cybertruck doesn't make that sound.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic, does it?
No, it does.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
But Jack doesn't want me to take him to school in it. What happened?
I saw that Twitter post.
Well, but yeah, you've also heard it from Jack.
Yeah, I I didn't know he actually meant that he didn't want that. That's crazy.
Yeah, we were on the way back from bowling, and he's like, "Oh yeah, somebody says you know the Cybertruck is a trash can, and I'd rather go to school in the plaid."
But everybody says the Cybertruck is
I know.
a trash
I told
can.
him that too.
I don't
I'm
even
like,
know if necessarily
it's the
they're
best
making,
trash can there is.
I don't know if they're necessarily even making fun of it. Like, it's just like, factually speaking, it's a trash can.
Do you see the post they're doing now in New York where they're like, if you see poop, pick it up and put it in a Cybertruck?
Yeah.
What's your take on all that? I mean, all this like vandalism and Elon hate.
I think that Elon's gone a little cuckoo.
Oh wow!
And
okay. But vandalism's wrong.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good.
It is
right,
wrong.
We can agree with that.
I think that there's becoming this weird thing related to Teslas because of the tie to Elon. Like a dad asked me actually yesterday how I liked the Tesla and was like, "Oh, where's your van?" or whatever he said. But then I'm thinking like, "Oh, like I wonder if he's like, is there him analyzing like do I like Elon because I drive this Tesla or maybe I'm wrong. Like he probably wasn't. I'm just thinking that there are a lot of ties to Elon with anyone driving a Tesla, and that's why they're having the bumper stickers now where something along the lines of I purchased this before Elon went crazy or something.
That's interesting. It's almost like now if you get asked about your Tesla, you have to defend or align with. You have to like pick a side.
Kind of gauge, yeah.
yeah.
I want to answer this.
I bought it because of the mileage, not Elon, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't want to say because I have 5 car seats in the Sienna, but I was like, like I still love my Sienna. I still have it. I use it for something different. But yeah, I take the boys in this. It's great.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, now you've got this surge of Republicans that are saying, "Hey, I'm going to buy a Tesla to support Elon," like Sean Hannity or Trump. Do you think that is something that would be ubiquitous amongst Republicans, where a lot of Republicans are going to say, "Oh yeah, I want to buy a Tesla too," or is it more of like sort of a social media statement that's going on?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't see Republicans buying it because of the Elon thing. Ironically, in my opinion, like I feel like usually electric cars are tied to liberals. And I thought it was a really dumb business move on Elon's part to tie himself to Trump because that's the opposite party that, in my opinion, would be buying these Teslas. Mm-hmm. He's also pissing off the party that did buy the bulk of the Teslas. So, sorry, I forgot your question.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I was just this. Do you think that Republicans who traditionally wouldn't buy electric vehicles, because you're right, you know, Gallup polls.
I don't think that they necessarily would.
Okay.
I think that they would have maybe anyway, and it's not because of Elon or anything
I see.
like
And that maybe there's like a social media play to like, I mean, Sean Hannity's in media, Trump's obviously.
Yeah, I could see maybe some social media plays, but like
there's an ulterior
everyday
motive.
Joe Republican, I don't think is necessarily doing that for like, I'm going to support Elon,
Got it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that'll be interesting because, the idea is to go from cars to humanoid robots in the future and sort of take these profits and finance humanoid robots walking around your house and working for you. Are you looking forward to your humanoid robot?
Honestly, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
I mean, we've had some issues that have now been resolved since having the babies, having like nanny drama, and if it were
real house nannies
really, I have a lot to say. I will say it's resolved now. I love the nannies that help me now.
The existing
team is amazing. I had a couple rotten apples, in a sense, that really could be a reality show. I really should. I'm like really trying to hold back saying it because I would love to tell about it because it's just, honestly, it's shocking and I feel like people's jaws would drop. But anyway, if it were a robot...
Cliffhanger.
If it were a robot, you wouldn't have these issues because it's not a human. It doesn't have the drama of emotion to have, conniving things happen or lies made up or whatever.
And if they do, you just right-click clear memory.
Yeah, just a system restart.
Reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I do think that that's also something you might see widely in the economy is sort of especially small businesses scaling back and trying to really like pare back their workforce to a more core workforce, especially with just the uncertainty going on in the economy now. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see more sort of reductions, and so you saw that in a household point of view. But I don't think that was from an economic point of view. I think also for you it was as these children got older and summer, for example, needed less help, you didn't need as many nannies.
Yeah, no, well, getting rid of the two that were a problem had nothing to do with economic anything.
Or even need for? Or
no, I could have totally still needed them.
Oh, okay. It was just pure rotten apples.
Pure rotten apples.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. So now, what's it like being the mom of a 7? So the ages now, what do we have? We've got 5 that are 13 to 15 months old, and then we have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I do want to say, because I know that it's easy to hate on the idea of us talking about nannies, and I think that it's important to note that if you don't have kids, I don't think that anyone really knows how hard it is, and I know everybody says that, and I thought that I knew, even though, because I did research and I knew how hard it was. And when I had Jack, it was just like a slap to the face reality of, basically mourning the loss of my old life, my independence and my happiness. Not that I wasn't.
I was still there.
Separately, I was very happy I had a baby, but it's just such a big shift in your life that you can very easily be sad. And if you don't have a proper support system and help to not allow you to have these feelings, then I think you can very quickly become depressed. And with depression, then you're a worse mom. But with 5 babies, it is a must to have a support team, even more than just 2 parents. Like if you have the financial ability, and for whatever reason, say, 5 babies are thrown at you, and you have the financial ability to have help, great help, you can, I bet you anything, you would say yes. Yes, I want a team of nannies that help me, because you need that. There's no way that 2 people can do. So I just want to preface, I'm there all the time with the kids, and I know it hurts me to see comments where it's, oh, nannies are raising the kids. That's totally not the case at all. It's like, you just need extra hands. You need extra help. It's just so much all the time.
Well, I mean, because there's more than just interacting with the child.
Yeah.
There is, I suppose you could interact while you're changing a diaper, but not really. But there's laundry, there's food, there's a lot of food that needs to be prepped. There's so much laundry that needs to be prepped. There
so many diapers.
Somebody's all the toys that are everywhere.
We joke that the nannies and I, it's that SpongeBob episode with the clam baby, and the diapers are just overflowing in the pineapple. But yeah, it's a lot. But to answer your question, it's been absolutely amazing. I think a big help that I had, an advantage, was that we experienced having Jack and Max ourselves without any help, really.
Wait, so you're saying going through the process of having the child first without helpers helped you? Why?
It did. It taught me what to do and what not to do.
Oh, okay.
And what would make me a happier mom what would make me happy to make me a happier mom? Because
right.
You do need time for yourself. I go on a walk every day for about an hour and a half. That makes me really happy. I read, I play the guitar. If I didn't have help, I could do none of that.
Oh, right. Yeah. But how are you supposed to play the guitar? How are you supposed to get better at doing anything for you?
For
so
me,
you have no you time.
Yeah. And if you don't have the you time, then you will suffer your performance as a mother, which I think is very bad. And I think it's more valuable to have help to allow you to be a better mom, basically.
Wow.
But no, from the beginning, because I knew what to do and what not to do with having had Jack and Max, I knew with 5 babies that I would have to hire night care specialists. That's different than night nannies. This is actually somebody that has a certificate.
I don't understand. What does that mean?
It's somebody that helps you sleep train the babies. So I had multiple night care specialists.
Oh, this is the NCS thing.
Yeah, NCS. They did an amazing job with both sets of babies, and they had both sets sleep trained by 4 or 5 months. Which that was crucial. So you need sleep. That's another thing too. If you're sleep deprived, that's torture.
It's almost like investing in the child. Teach them ASAP to sleep through the night. So it's easier.
The night care specialist also gave me scheduling and advice how to train the babies throughout the day for naps and feeds and bottle times and activities, things like that. So essentially I hired somebody that trained me as well.
Right.
And because of all the training, I feel like we have such an amazing schedule, and the babies really adhere to this schedule so well. They're very well trained, and I mean, it's really, I don't want to say it's easy. I just it's so incredibly doable, and yeah, I almost want to say that it's easy because of we fortunately
the routines.
We have the routines, and we fortunately have help, so it's not just us two, and and they're so happy because babies want routine. So they're very happy with the consistency of it.
Who was a happier baby, these 5 or Jack?
100% these 5 babies. And I am a night and day mom for these 5 babies. Then I was a depressed mom with Jack. I am the opposite of that with these babies.
So you were depressed with 1 and happy with 5.
Yes, yeah.
That's wild.
But I had no time for myself with Jack. Literally lost myself.
Is it because of him, or is it because of the routine?
Because I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt guilt for thinking that I needed help. I felt guilt for thinking that I needed any time for myself. So, and I did slightly adjust that when we had Max. Actually, when I was probably maybe 8 months before I got pregnant with Max, I did realize I needed to do something for myself, and that's actually when I started taking private lessons for the guitar, because I've always wanted to do that, and I thought that would be healthy for my mental health, and it really was. And then that showed me, like, okay, I need to prioritize making myself happy, and I kind of learned that lesson through trial and error.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, speaking of lessons, I'm a pilot now, if you haven't heard.
I have heard. That's great.
I don't think I've ever shared any stories with you.
I haven't heard any details at all.
What's your take on that?
I think that aligns with, like, how you are as a person. You like to do a lot of things yourself. And when you're interested in something, you pursue it hard and you accomplish it quickly, and you did.
That's how I found you.
Yeah, he did kind of do that.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was me showing you the cat picture, and then your first response to me showing you my cat?
That I'm allergic to cats.
That'll have to be a topic for a different day. That's a great icebreaker.
I have a video of how we met on my channel that's basically it's a dead channel.
Dead, because you never post. It would be so alive and well if you posted. You know, it's kind of like, saying dead channel is like you log into Rust and nobody's on, but, you're there and the server's up. Your server's not even up. So, like, we got to encourage you to make some videos again.
I guess I don't really know what I would even talk about. A lot of my days are pretty similar, and I kind of feel that family vlogging isn't really an in thing anymore, and because of the routine that was mentioned before, it's very similar every single day.
Look at these happy 5 children.
Yeah, right now at this time, they're having their bottles. Right now at this time, they're eating. Like, same thing every day.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, what about... when are you going to let the children play Rust with me?
I don't want to.
Okay, tell me as a mom, what is going on? What happens to Max and Jack when they get unleashed on video games?
They become addicted. They have behavioral issues. Mostly outside of playing the game, but also within playing the game too. Just
like,
not as bad.
What do you mean outside of it?
Like when they're not playing the game, they act out a lot. They
start
having a mean attitude about life. They start actually being very negative about life. They have no understanding of how to be creative because all they want to do is play a video game. So they then, when not playing the video game and you say, okay, it's time to stop, they don't know what to do. And
they're bored.
Then I'm bored, and they then start having little freakouts or whatever. I think that there are some games that don't promote this, but there are also a lot of games that do. Actually, I'd say most games do.
So some games, like, for example, Luigi's Mansion.
I'm okay with, like, all Mario. That doesn't seem to do it.
And then they're still willing to play kickball or football or go-karts, and we can throw balls out of the alley or whatever.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
they don't do that with Rust.
Roblox is a really bad, toxic one. They have that bad behavior with that. I'm really anti-Rust because I think that it's not meant for children. We obviously, like, do all the censorship to where...
Sometimes.
We do. That isn't showing anything, but like to a level to where I don't see it being any different than like a gun game in Roblox.
Right.
But yeah, it just really promotes terrible behavior, and I think it's unhealthy.
What was the youngest age Max was when he started playing?
I don't know.
I think he was 4.
Maybe.
And we would give him a shotgun. And when he would kill somebody, we'd walk over and we'd say in the chat, "You just got killed by a 4-year-old."
I played yesterday. This is my favorite thing to do in Rust, is to shoot somebody, and then
with a bow and arrow.
With a bow and arrow, and when they're down, they're like, oh, or whatever. I go, shh, 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 it's okay, just let it happen. It's gonna be over with soon. And they're like, F-U-B. And I'm like, it's okay, shh, shh, shh. And
as you're squatting on their face.
And then sometimes they say in the world chat, they're like, this F and B.
And then we get raided.
Yeah, and then immediately after that we get raided. And
Instant
it
karma.
really wasn't worth it, but it was fun for its moment. But yeah, no, I think that I do want to mention that a lot of people are different on how they approach video games. I think it's kind of just like an inherent like personality thing, because for me, I've never had an addictive personality towards video games at all.
Neither have I.
And my brother did. I did not. You do.
Do. She didn't say did.
The boys do. And there are many people that don't. There are many people that feel completely satisfied with, doing it for like an hour and a half or whatever, and then be like, I'm done. I think I'm going to go do a different activity and be happy about life and everything. And then some others don't. So.
Hey. I have to say, it's not like I have a war glade from World of Warcraft in my office or anything.
Yeah. Like, I played World of Warcraft, too.
You were my priest.
I've always been a healer. Yeah, my brother and I started playing EverQuest when I was 11. And then I went to, like, a Star Wars online thing. And then I went to Final Fantasy 11. That was great. And then I met you, and then we played some World of Warcraft. But I never had a problem. I always maintained friendship, real life, like, human-to-human interaction friendships instead of typing friendships.
Typing friendships. My friendship is when you get onto Splinter Cell.
That was fun. Oh, I told you this. I had my first boyfriend when I played EverQuest.
Oh.
And he was from Florida, too.
Oh.
His name was Robert Berry, and he lived in Florida. And
was he, like, typing buying girlfriend?
No, we somehow met up on EverQuest, and I talked to him on the phone a few times. This is so bad that this happened, because, he sounded like an 11-year-old. I didn't...
Did his name rhyme with Jeffrey Epstein?
No, nothing ever, anything inappropriate ever happened. And it was...
Just invited you to his island.
No, I talked to him on the phone randomly, and then a boy that had a crush on me in 6th grade, in band class, he found out because he wanted to be my, he wanted to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and I said I was already in a committed relationship.
You just wanted to blow him off.
And he's like, what, who? And I'm like, Robert Berry, he's from Florida, or whatever. And then he told our band teacher that I had an online boyfriend, and then I had to get a talking to. But that didn't stop me in my love. Yeah.
So that's really what
So
you're
Robert
doing
Berry
now.
would basically be my age now, and if you were playing EverQuest in like 2001, that was me you were talking to.
Link below. Please DM Lauren. She's still looking for you. Kevin's just a placeholder, I swear.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you this whole time.
Oh no. Okay, wow. Well, what else? What else is there? I think that's pretty good. I think we do good here. I know you've been really jumping up and down over our new presidency. I like the solid, no reaction, no comment. Okay, all right. And go buy real estate.
Yeah, now you think?
Oh, well, it's got to be the right place. I think third and fourth quarter, wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Raise cash. That's what we're doing with House I. I mean, you already know that. Raise cash and the Q3, Q4. That's when I like to buy. I don't like to be the spring buyer because everyone's buying in the spring.
It's true.
And the convenience of that is between now and, September when school starts again, I think we'll know whether we're in a recession or not.
Yeah.
And then we could buy really cheap deals.
Yeah.
And low rates. Oh, there was this lady I just did a podcast with, Lynette. She just highly encouraged sell everything, buy gold. Although she liked real estate too.
To buy gold? How old is she?
70.
Okay.
Stop. Okay. Well, I think that's the one to end it on. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel. I love it when you come. And I don't know. Anything else to share?
Nope.
All right. Thanks. Leave a comment. Encourage Lauren to get back on our channel or just here again. All right. See y'all on the next one. Goodbye. Good luck.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.